Hola, 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 hola. Good afternoon to everyone. I am connected through my channel, Station C, or Live Minnesota Say, in YouTube, and also in City and Council Talk. And you know, it's October. Tax election days is approaching. It's fast approaching, and we are doing a very big effort, a good effort to bring everybody to the table to have a good idea exactly what is going on, what is in the mind of each and every one of the, or as many as the candidates that we can see. And today we have a very special guest. We are making a special emphasis in the school board, JCPS school board. It is one of those races that this year it has a tremendous importance. We all know that all the things that are going on in the schools, and how many parents are in complete disagreement with what is happening behind the closed doors of each and every one of schools in America. However, today we have a guest to have one of the challengers for the school board, specifically for district number 6, happens to be my district. But it's not only because it's my district, because it's a very important thing. We have important topics to talk about. And I know you have not seen me in a long time. I know you are not used to do that. But anyways, if you like what you're going to hear here and you find that the information is important enough, please comment, share, subscribe. Give us a like, and let this very important information to be in front of everybody's eyes. It is important. We know, don't we, how important it is that people will have all the elements to take a very good decision with a coming election day. And this year is not an exception. As a matter of fact, this is a very important year, election year, This is important midterm, and we are very much, all of us, very much interest. We have a lot of interest to know exactly what's going on. So I'm going to take a break, and when I come back, upon return, you're going to see my guest, and you're going to have the opportunity to ask her important questions regarding the school board. So let's take a few seconds break, and when I come back, I'm gonna have with me Miss Misty Glin, the challenger for the school board, Jefferson County School Board seat, District number 6. Please share, comment, like, subscribe to La Emisora C or Station C in YouTube. Look for the video. This is important information. Well, welcome. There she is. There you have her. Welcome, Misty. Thank you for just answering our call and just agree to give you a platform to speak about yourself, to open yourself, so everybody know in the city and the county exactly who you are, and what you stand for. Please present yourself.
Thank you. My name is Misty Glin, and I am a mom. I'm a mom who wants a change for her kids and your kids, just for all the kids of JCPS, and that is why I'm running for 6th District School Board in the JCPS race. You can vote on November the 8th. That's me.
Basically, yes, like many other moms, myself included, you are concerned about the present state of the school system. But we were talking about, prior to the interview, we were talking about some important numbers that everybody that lives in Jefferson County must know regarding the increase in taxes for the upcoming year. If we don't make a very educated decision about who is going to represent us in the school board, would you care to tell us about that?
Yeah, so JCPS, the current board needs $2 billion to build new schools. And the only way that they seem to think that they can get that money is through an increase in taxes. They can raise taxes every year 4% without a vote, and anything more than that, they need a vote. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a 15% increase if you keep the current board that you have.
Right. Well, so we still have, so we already have 4% that is going to go on no matter what. Because, right. Misty, who gave them this authority?
I don't know who gave them the authority to do so.
We did that to ourselves. We did.
Yeah, they just raised our taxes. I think it was 9.5%. I don't know if that went to a vote. I don't recall voting on it. I know there was the no tax hike, no JCPS tax hike that went, and a lot of people signed that, but I think the court threw that out. And so they were allowed to raise those prices on our property tax.
So basically, the courts just went together with the school board to just freeze us out of our money. I don't know any way to say it.
That's exactly right. I mean, if you own a house, you're affected. If you own any type of property, you're affected. If you're a renter, you're affected, because if the property tax goes up, then rent has to go up. That landlord has to make their money somehow. And it's really a shame, for especially at this time of year when inflation is so high and everybody's struggling to make ends meet, that we continuously see a rise in everything, and that includes property taxes.
Wow. You told me something that your personal plan, if should you be elected as a school board, a new school board member, you have a personal plan or a personal idea about how that money could be paid without coming exactly straight out of our pockets. I'm
very
interested to hear that.
So my plan, and of course, this would have to go to vote with the other 6 members of the board. But I think that with a reelection of the 4 members that are up for election this year, if you got a new board in, you would have a unanimous vote. And the plan that I had submitted in my forum with my opponent on Tuesday oh, I don't know, it's last Tuesday in September.
Yeah.
The plan I stated was that there are 742 administrators at JCPS that make over $100,000 a year. We do not see those administrators in our classrooms. They do not work with our teachers. They're not in our schools. And when we start to cut some of those positions, we'll have a lot of extra money. Now, we might not have $2 billion, but that is definitely a good start to getting that $2 billion.
We don't have to. It may not necessarily $2 million, but definitely it's not going to. It means that we don't really have to pay that much money out of pocket if we can try to cut
right.
off.
Oh, right. Yeah, and another thing would be too is that if we have that reassignment plan coming out, or if we start encouraging some homeschool, I'm sorry, not homeschool, some neighborhood schools. So if students started going to schools in their neighborhoods, we could cut down some of the costs that we're spending on busing. So we wouldn't need as much gas money. We wouldn't need as much repairs on our buses. The students would be closer to home. We could have a better community and relationship with the community. Parents could be more involved, but then there's a lot of money too, because right now we spend $1.2 million on busing students every year.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So there's another part of it. So I think honestly, if we can come in and we can say, all right, here is where we're spending some excess money. Definitely need to have an external audit done to determine where the money is going and where we can pull some of those funds. JCPS is humongous industry. It's basically a business. And so any business owner would say, okay, instead of asking my customers, taxpayers for extra money or raising my costs, what can I do internally to cut that budget and be able to allocate those funds in places where we need them, which would be new schools, school updates. A lot of schools, I talked to a student who Moore High School does not have reliable internet. So all of these things could take priority over some of the other things that we're kind of spending frivolously on.
And regarding that, that situation with the busing in the school, with that, I've barely half an hour ago, I have a Hispanic mom that came concerned to me because she said that the child is having problems in reading and in math. And she said, but my child needs a tutor. And the school just tell her, well, give us your name and telephone number, which they already have, by the way. And the mother said, I'm so concerned because my daughter is falling behind in reading. There's a whole bunch of kids in her school bus because every day kept new immigrant children coming. That's a Hispanic mom saying. And my daughter is falling behind. And then she said she was driving, all concerned, coming back from the school, trying to find somebody who can help her. I remember Irina lives there, and then she came running and asked me, how can I help? Now, this is one of the problems, my basic problems. My children never qualified to be in a school in Indian Elementary, which is a walking distance from my home. What can the JCPS, the board, do? Trying to increase what is the problem? Is that the local neighborhood schools are better, worse? Why pick up the kids and drop them up 20 miles distance, trying to make it better? Does it make it any better? That's my question. You are here much longer than me, so you know.
So we've been busing students for 50 years, and we have learned that, and of course, this is an opinion of mine and some people that I've spoken to. It's obviously not the opinion of your current school board, but busing is antiquated. We started to bus students in the 1970s to make sure that we had an even amount of both white and black children in the school systems.
Okay.
My thought is that we should not think about color. We should treat all students the same, and all students should have the same opportunities in the schools. So, one school should not be considered a good school, and I want to be bus 20 miles away because that's a good school. If the school in my neighborhood is just as good as the school 20 miles away, then I would want to go to that school. Um, I think that that's a big problem now is because we do have a lot of schools that are considered good schools, and then a lot of schools where kids are like, I don't want to go there. Why would I want to go there?
Yeah.
Um, and if we made an opportunity to say, okay, all schools are going to have the same internet power, all schools are going to have new computers, all schools are going to have new books. I feel like that we're just leaving kids behind at this point.
Mhm.
When we're not giving them the same opportunities. And so, as you know, that all of our kids are struggling, especially over the last 2 years of the COVID nonsense. And 55% of our kids can't read, and 64% of them can't do math at their grade level. And we are graduating these kids and we're sending them out into the world without the basic necessities of life, being able to read and do math. And so we kind of set them up for failure for their future because they can't take and pass an entrance exam to get into college. They struggle to get into the trade school because they lack those basic fundamentals of learning. So I think a big problem with this is that we don't have enough parental involvement because the schools are 20 miles away and parents may not have the the
They have to work.
transportation,
There's
right? They
nothing
have
else.
to work too, but they don't have the transportation to get 20 miles away
Mhm.
to be a part of their child's school life. And then we have this problem with disruption in the classrooms. We have some safety issues, some violence, just bad behavior in general. And when your teacher has to focus the majority of a 50-minute class period on correcting bad behavior, there doesn't leave a lot of time to do instruction. And so we've got to get that behavior issue under control. We have to bring back consequences for bad behavior and say, if you're not here to learn and you're causing a disruption, then we're going to put you in a different classroom. We can call it in-school suspension. We can have them serve detention, but we have to determine what the plan is going to be and then stick with it. And I think right now is that we have a plan, but we're not sticking with it. We're not
I don't really think that there is any plan to choose to correct that. One of the things that if personally, and I'm a professional teacher, I'm not working with JCPS, but I'm a teacher by profession, and I taught in JCPS for about 2 years. And if COVID taught us anything, and this is my personal opinion, you don't have to agree with that, is that all the students don't necessarily have to be inside the classroom within the classroom, and that JCPS have a division that is essentially for students that, for health reasons or for any other reason, they want to be homeschooled, and they have and they cannot be in the classroom. Let's put it this way. But you know what? Can't we get something good come out of COVID? And those students with particularly high behavioral problems and patterns, wouldn't it be better for the kids to be homeschooled? Using the JCPS as a platform in which the teacher can interact with him, but the child have the opportunity to concentrate rather
right.
than trying to make miserable the life of his classmates, basically trying to see, and a teacher or a tutor can do that, which takes me to the next question. Should you become part of the school board? Is there any part of the school board that is going to deal with the increasing problem of bad teacher preparation? Because we can't blame it all in the behavior of the kids. I agree, kids misbehave, but is that, as far as you know, and you know, I know you're not a member of the board. You don't necessarily need to know this, ask this question. You don't necessarily need to have the answer, but you may have an idea. Has ever been, as far as you can remember, any plan when the schools are going down And I was a teacher in one of those schools that was going down, to move around the teacher's body just to see if the kids will learn with somebody else.
I think that's a great idea. I think we have to first pay our teachers what they're worth. So I use this line at work a lot. When we hire employees and you pay the bare minimum, then you get what you paid for. And so when we expect teachers to put themselves through school and get a master's degree, but then we pay them for associates or bachelor's work, then that's what we're getting. We're getting teachers who, they've had enough. Just like parents, they've had enough. Every day, something else is piled on top of them, and they're just really trying to survive with a little bit of money
Mhm.
that they're getting.
Uh,
And so
let,
we,
let me make the exception, because you're talking to a teacher. They're not getting a little bit of money, and no, you don't survive. You really look good. If they don't know how to manage the financial affairs, that's a problem. But really, teachers are not getting little money. That's a fact. They get money higher than the average, because I did. I know what I got, what I was getting, and that was using. They JCPS used my bachelor's degree, make me go into a master's degree, which I didn't know, by the way. I didn't need, by the way. So it's not needed. If you are not a good teacher, a master's degree is not going to make a difference. And if you are a good one, a master's degree is not going to make a difference. They're just making the teachers get into enormous debt, which is true, which really can become a liability for a person. So one of the things that I really would propose is this school board, can you just stop that ridiculous request of the teachers to become masters? Because if being master will make a difference, shouldn't we have a better, shouldn't that correlate to the results of the kid?
it definitely should. There could be some. I know that we have a lot of development days for teachers, teacher development days, and so definitely getting in there and determining what can we do to be better. How can we make learning more interesting? How can we make it fun? How can we get students to pay attention? Pay attention, because I'll tell you, I learned as a student much better when my instructor was more interactive and a lot more hands-on, and they get, they're kids, they want to bounce around, and they get tired of just being in that chair all day and being told to shush and pay attention. And so let's make it fun, let's make it interactive, and let's let them be kids. You have a science class, why aren't we doing more science experiments, more hands-on things? A reading class, why can't we read but also act out the parts in the book and give them a little bit more? And so these professional development days could definitely be an outlet to say, okay, what have we noticed that we're doing wrong, or what have we noticed that the kids aren't really interacting with very well, and then how can we create an environment where students are excited to learn, where students want to come to school, where they're not, I mean, I get it, no one wants to go to school and no one wants to go to work, because I'd rather be home doing the stuff that I want to do. But we have to go to work and we have to go to school. And the best way to do that is to make it fun. And so I teach college, and one of the courses that I teach is a calculation course. And so I'll teach the calculation course, and then the final part of the class, we make something based off of the calculations. So if we have to, like measurement, for example, we'll make a chapstick, and when then they get done, we'll take an assessment to see how well they learned. And they're so funny, because they come back with, I didn't even realize I learned that because you made it fun. And so we can make learning fun. We just have to have the commitment to our students and to our school system that we're going to make learning fun, and we're going to make school enjoyable for kids.
I disagree with that, but because I'm a science teacher.
Yeah.
I'm an eighth grade science teacher. I literally taught eighth grade. There was a good bit of hands-on, but the problem is education is not based upon the minute you get the student. You are getting somebody who's coming out of a long process of
Yeah. And
of
when I
trauma.
taught my first class, I had a mentor, and I'll be honest, I was scared to death. I said, I don't know that I can do this. And he told me, he said, they don't care how much you they don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And I took that philosophy with me when I taught at Job Corps. and the students there, they came from backgrounds where they had bad backgrounds, right? They had parents who either didn't care or who were absent. They had parents who were incarcerated, and all they really wanted was someone to care about them, care that they succeeded, cared that they had ate and that they were moving on, and then to be encouraged. You can do it. So maybe you don't do it the first time, maybe you don't do it the second time, but teaching them not to give up because
Eventually, yeah,
everybody learns differently.
eventually you have to do it. Which brings me to that question. Now that you, if, this kids, I know you have the kids with parents that are incarcerated. I know you have the kid, the working parent. That it not necessarily have to be a single mother. Sometimes it's mom and dad, but both of them are working, and it's not easy for them to come, which doesn't necessarily translate in parents that are necessarily every day of the school, or because I have these PTAs meetings in which the kids that have better results are the kids that the parents come to the PTA meeting.
Hmm.
Now, as a future candidate of the school board, I'm coming to the hot button, and we just about 4 minutes. I mean, the time flies. It's half an hour. Maybe we stretch a little bit more, but can't do much more than that. As a future candidate of the school board, uh, the hot button in this case is how will you try to increase parental presence and influence in the school?
So again, neighborhood schools are a good way to do that because the parents at that point, other than work, they don't have an excuse of why they can't get to those meetings.
Uh,
Um, my son's parent teacher conferences were about 15 minutes, and you were required to sign up to be there to learn about your child's progress.
mm,
I think a lot of times because our kids are having such difficulty, that parents are like, I don't want to hear anything else bad this week. I'm not going to go to this meeting because they're just going to tell me how my kid is not at reading level, how they're not doing math, how they acted up today in class, and they don't go to these meetings. And so we have to also encourage the parents to be a part of their child's development. Um, and we have to do that with constant communication. And so, if
yeah.
Johnny does something great at school today, I need to send an email. I need to send a text message and say, hey, Johnny's mom, I just want to let you know that today at recess, this is what Johnny did. And it was so great. And when he gets home, give him a big hug. That way, when I do send an email or a text message that says, hey, Johnny threw a rock at someone today, then that's not coming off so bad because I've offset the bad with the good. I think right now that parents are just hearing all the bad, and they don't really feel a reason. I also think that a big part of it too is that the last, the 2 years, the parents weren't allowed at the school board meetings. They come to school board meetings now, and if they don't like what is being said, if the school board doesn't like what is being said, they silence the microphones. They don't allow parents to talk. They make them wait until the end of the meeting on a weekday night to talk, to make a comment. I think as a school board member, it's our job to listen to concerns and issues that parents are having with different schools. We have to be able to ask uncomfortable questions and answer uncomfortable questions. And right now, I think the board that we have is kind of shirking away from that responsibility of listening to their parents because they feel like it's my school, right? I'm in charge. This is my school. This is my school system. But it's really not. I mean, the school board is such a small part of what it should be because it should be a circle of community. It should be the school, the administrators, the teachers, the parents, the students, and then the school board. And out of all of those, the school board it should be have the least amount of power in all of that.
How did they become so powerful?
Uh, They got big heads over there. They've sure grown in this power, and that was pretty obvious with the COVID and the mask and everyone in the nation going to no mask, but four schools and JCPS being one of those. Um, it-
How can we change that? Is that
well,
any?
with me, it's not power. With me, it's just about making a positive change, giving parents back their voice, bringing safety back into the schools and some discipline, and then getting our academic achievement back on track. I want kids to graduate and be ready to go on to their next their next step in life, whether that's college, trade school, a job right after high school. But I want them to be prepared for their futures. And to do that, I think the school board has to take a step back and allow teachers to do their jobs, to encourage teachers to do their jobs, and to have a safe and healthy environment for the students to learn.
Last but not least, so get ready.
I know it went by fast.
Last but not least, because the time is just coming closer. Under the lights of the present sex education and issues all throughout the country, is it time for the law to be applied to individuals, adult individuals, exchanging sex information with children within the schools? Is
Most
that right?
definitely. Most definitely past due. We should have, again, a healthy environment and a safe environment is where our kids can come to school and not be over sexualized. Right now, some of the things that we're teaching in school or allowing in our libraries is not educational, nor is it age appropriate. And I know this current school board says that they don't have a vote in that fight, but we're the school board, and they have power for everything else. And um, we have to make sure that our kids keep their innocence until it's time for them to lose it. Our kids can't read, they can't do math. And why are we teaching a bunch of stuff that makes no difference? Um,
It's ridiculous.
yeah.
It is ridiculous. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much because I know some of my questions are kind of unnerving, but nevertheless, thank you so much for answering those questions. There's still a whole bunch of things that I would really like to challenge whoever sees it. Please share it in the first place. Second of all, just contact me. Let me see. Let me put my part of my contact so you will be able to send me a message. Just go ahead and do it. So if you want another one of the candidates to, I will try to track down as much as I can, but I can't do that. So, but definitely, I wanted to be able, City and County Talk in Facebook and obviously in Minnesota saying YouTube, have the opportunity to listen to what the candidates have to say. To be
Right.
entirely honest, I last week I was talking to somebody else, and I'm under the growing idea that we should remove our current JCPS rooster. The JCPS board rooster have to be removed. And by voting, obviously it is the case. And hopefully we're gonna share, we're gonna talk, we're gonna give everybody information so they
Right.
know.
I mean, if you keep the current school board as it is, you have 4 more years. I hate to think of what can happen in 4 years, and I always say the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and hoping for a different result. And this school board, especially my opponent who has been on the board for 4 years, has had 4 years to make positive changes. And our kids are worse off now than they were 4 years ago.
So it's not a real concern about the welfare of the kids, neither a real concern about the opinion of the parents, or
Right.
neither a real concern about how much money the parents get. It's a soft
Mhm.
tyranny what the JCPS, the school board happens. So guys, now that you know, thank you, Missy. They're just so
Thank you.
glad. Thank you, thank you,
Thank
thank you, thank
you.
you. So
I have a great night. Thank you for having me.
thank you, my dear. So this is the thing, people. This is the thing. This is the information. This is what we have. This is what I've been finding. Please share, comment, like, follow us. You know I have been giving you the information about the obscenities and how the chief librarian said that she could not remove the obscenities and the profanity and the porn, the kid porn from the schools. It's up to us. It's up to all of us. Like Miss Sora said, just comment, subscribe. It's in Spanish because it's for my cousins. To like Miss Sora said, but and follow us. We're gonna keep bringing back candidates. We're gonna keep bringing candidates. We're gonna keep bringing people and giving you information exactly on the things that are going on. So thank you. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for lifting the profile. Please like, subscribe, comment in YouTube. Basically, right here in La Emisora said this one that is passing. Just, I know your Spanish may not be that good, but look for it. It's Tuesday chat. Look for it in YouTube, and you'll get me, and you'll get this very important information. All right, guys.